Bollocks, I tell you! Right. So I gotta think a little bit more careful. I still want double of those, and I want to shoot her, and more than this, this actually slows them down as well, because it throws the melted butter as well on them. Let's get, this one doesn't cost anything, so it's just a loading time that it sort of quote-unquote costs. I don't think I should need more of those. These are kind of handy, but they require two. They require the coffee bean, which I of course already have by force, so I might as well use it, I guess. Let's do the shooting one as well then, just because it's fairly cheap. Let's start it again then and be a little bit more careful. This will, as it's sleeping, it doesn't shoot anything, it just delays them because they'll stop there and eat. But if you use a coffee bean on them, of course they wake up and they shoot these tiny little specks, you know, of something. But it is something, so it does help. This whole game is very meticulously thought out to be very strategic, yes. It actually kills a normal zombie at that distance, as you could see. So it's very handy for these first types of levels, and when you can't mount up to a lot of sun. It can definitely be very handy. You could call them sort of a last resort as well, because when they're sleeping and not costing you anything, they do at least protect you by delaying them ever so slightly. Every second counts at times in this game, especially further on. So at times it's good to have like several that you can plant out that doesn't cost anything, that only costs time, just to delay and be able to plant something better along the way. So far we've had it very easy. And I'm planting the ones who are just being delayed up here, and the other ones that can actually do something round about the middle. And hopefully fill out with longer shooters closer to the... You can actually like almost fill up the whole place here with them to an extent, you know, because like with these ones, they're gonna jump over that despite it costing nothing. So that definitely gives you a win. I'm gonna go for a 2 and 1 differently and see how it works out, more or less. Because you can, as you can always, you know, undig a plant, should I say, unplant a plant. You can always get rid of it further along the line. It won't get back to your sort of, it's not like you save it, it's dead once you dig it up. But it will still be perhaps better to have something else in its place. So these are good, but if they can't be used like that, these will at least get rid of his pole cheaper, so to speak. But these take a lot, it goes a lot faster to eat them up. Let's try and get... Let's try and get a lot of shooters possible in here. To the extent that we can. Oh, sorry, I accidentally grabbed that when I didn't mean to. Also, we don't want to forget to... Oh yeah, we can plant one of those as well. These marigolds are also like a cheap delayer. But most likely we're not going to need much more delaying once we got a few stars out, because they reach very far around the court. Would you call this court a playfield? Is possibly a better word for it. That now it looks better. This looks much better. Much better. I wasn't paying attention before, and I apologize for that. I mean, that is not okay for a Let's Player to just completely ignore the points of a Let's Play is to show you how at least I would play. I think the stars are fairly late introduced in the game, and I really enjoy them. I think they're really good. Like I said, not cheap. Deals a fair amount of damage, comparatively. Because there's like bigger guns, quote unquote, that should be, you know, like these really huge, massive, you collect them and then you save up to them, and it goes like meh. When you finally get your hand on one, it's like, oh, that was a huge disappointment. Or it could be that I'm just not so good at using them, you know, which is fair enough. We're all good at different things. And we undoubtedly are gonna suck at some. Was also talking, a friend of mine, I was celebrating my grandmother's 92 birthday, grandmother on my maternal side, which I think is quite epic in itself, but it also had me talking to some friends about, well, you know, when we were in school together and what we did and stuff like that. Our silly, we had like a flying school that we made up and we were practicing to fly. We were like tying ourselves to a pole in one of the girls' yards, running around it. We tied ourselves to it so that we wouldn't fly away and not being able to find our way back. Oh god, we had so much fun. Anyway, so that was one of those things that got me thinking about when you were a kid and what silly things you did. And also another accident that I have in school, actually had in school during gym class. We were doing the I'm not sure what the correct word for it would be, when you run and you jump across what we would call a horse. A wooden horse. You're supposed to jump across it. You can either jump, you know, you can scissor across it, or you know, split across it, or whatever. Oh, and we're done. And I was in a line, as you were in the days. I don't know how it works nowadays, but there was always lines to the different type of stations in your gym class, when you had like walking tightrope, doing somersaults or whatever, wheeling and blah blah blah, depending on what you could do. Like you had a mattress point, and then you had the bars point, and then you had the rings, you know, that you hung from in your arms, simply enough. And I got so stressed standing in the line, because I was sort of nervous about going across that horse. And the guy behind me was like, "Go on, go on!" And so I ran, and I wasn't really ready for it, and I wasn't prepared. And as I jumped, there was a crack in my wrist, and I hadn't broken it, but I got off from school and I went in with my mother to the doctors, and we did an examination of it, and there was a crack in it, which is so silly. How do you even get a crack in your wrist bone for just, you know, launching your body across a bit of wood? But point is, why do people think that it's harmful for kids to get hurt? They could fall down the stairs to your house. Don't be scared of that. It's just part of growing up.